You wake up, same routine, same problems, same frustrations, and somewhere deep down, you know something's wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Here's the truth most people never realize. The biggest obstacles in your life aren't external. They're not your boss, your circumstances, or your past. They're invisible patterns hardwired into your brain, toxic traits so subtle you don't even know they're destroying you. Today we're exposing 5 of them, and more importantly, how to break free. Picture this. You're finally making progress. The job interview went well. The relationship is going great. You're 2 weeks into that fitness routine. And then, you blow it up. You ghost the recruiter. You pick a fight over nothing. You binge eat and skip the gym for a week. Welcome to self-sabotage. And it's not just weakness. It's neuroscience. Studies from the University of Cambridge reveal that our brains are wired with something called approach-avoidance conflict. When you get close to success, your amygdala, your brain's fear center, perceives the change as a threat. Why? Because your identity is built on familiar patterns. Even if those patterns are painful, they're predictable. And your brain craves predictability over growth. Dr. Gay Hendricks calls this your upper limit problem. You have an internal thermostat for how much success, love, or happiness you believe you deserve. When you exceed it, you unconsciously sabotage yourself back down to your comfort zone. The evidence is everywhere. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people with low self-worth actively choose partners who view them negatively, confirming their negative self-image. You're not weak. You're just running faulty programming. The fix. Awareness is the circuit breaker. When you notice yourself about to sabotage, pause. Ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if this actually works out? Write it down. Most fears dissolve when dragged into the light. You're scrolling. Someone just bought their dream house. Another person just launched their 3rd business. Your high school classmate is on a beach in Bali. And you? You're eating leftovers in your apartment, wondering where you went wrong. This is comparison addiction, and it's rewiring your brain for misery. Neuroscientist Dr. Robert Sapolsky's research shows that humans are uniquely tortured by social comparison. Unlike other animals that only stress about immediate threats, we stress about abstract hierarchies. Your brain releases cortisol, the stress hormone, every time you perceive yourself as less than someone else. Over time, this chronic activation shrinks your hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for emotional regulation and memory. And here's the kicker. Social media engineered this addiction. A study from the University of Pennsylvania found that limiting social media use to just 30 minutes per day significantly reduced depression and loneliness. Why? Because comparison is a rigged game. You're comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. You're measuring your Chapter 3 against someone else's Chapter 27. Psychologist Leon Festinger discovered that we engage in social comparison to evaluate ourselves. But in the digital age, we're comparing ourselves to billions of people, most of whom are lying. The fix. Implement comparison fasting. Unfollow anyone who makes you feel inadequate. Replace scrolling time with creation time. And remember, the only person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday. You can't sit still. Every moment must be optimized. Audiobooks during your commute, podcasts while you cook, side hustles until midnight. Rest feels like failure. Relaxation feels like laziness. You're not productive. You're avoiding something. Psychologists call this toxic productivity, the compulsive need to be doing something at all times. And it's not ambition. It's anxiety in a disguise. Dr. Brené Brown's research on perfectionism reveals that constant busyness is often a numbing strategy. We stay frantically busy to avoid confronting uncomfortable emotions, difficult relationships, or existential questions about meaning. Neuroscience backs this up. When you're chronically busy, your brain operates in a perpetual state of fight or flight. Your prefrontal cortex, responsible for creativity, decision-making, and emotional regulation, goes offline. A study from Stanford University found that productivity per hour dramatically declines after 50 hours of work per week. After 55 hours, you're essentially wasting time. But here's what toxic productivity really costs you: presence. You're so obsessed with the next achievement that you're missing the only life you actually have. This moment, right now. You're running from yourself. The fix: schedule guilt-free rest like you schedule meetings. Practice doing nothing for 15 minutes daily. No phone, no book, just sitting. Your worth isn't determined by your output. You are not your productivity. Something's bothering you. A conflict with a friend. Anxiety about your career. Grief you haven't processed. So you don't deal with it. You binge Netflix, you scroll TikTok, you stay busy, you drink, you zone out. Anything to avoid feeling what you're feeling. This is emotional avoidance, and it's quietly destroying your mental health. Dr. Stephen Hayes, founder of acceptance and commitment therapy, discovered that experiential avoidance, the attempt to avoid internal experiences like thoughts, feelings, and sensations, is a root cause of psychological suffering. Research published in Behavior Research and Therapy found that people who avoid their emotions experience more intense anxiety and depression over time. Why? Because avoided emotions don't disappear. They accumulate. Neuroscientist Dr. Jill Bolte-Taylor discovered that emotions have a 90-second chemical lifespan in the body. If you actually feel them, they pass quickly. But when you avoid them, you create chronic stress loops that can last years. Think of emotions like waves. You can't stop them from coming, but you can learn to surf them. Avoidance is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It takes enormous energy, and eventually it explodes in your face. Studies show that emotional suppression is linked to increased risk of cardiovascular disease, weakened immune function, and impaired memory. The fix: when difficult emotions arise, name them. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling grief. I'm feeling shame. Then feel them in your body. Where do you notice tension? Tightness? Heat? Breathe into it. Give it space. Let it move through you. You can't heal what you won't feel. I can't change. That's just how I am. It is what it is. You've said some version of this. We all have. But when resignation becomes your default mode, you've developed the most dangerous trait of all: learned helplessness. In the 1960s, psychologist Martin Seligman conducted experiments that would change psychology forever. He discovered that when subjects were repeatedly exposed to negative stimuli they couldn't control, they eventually stopped trying to escape, even when escape became possible. They had learned to be helpless. This phenomenon doesn't just happen in labs. It happens in relationships where you've stopped asking for your needs to be met, in careers where you've stopped applying for better positions, in health where you've decided you'll always be this way. Brain scans reveal that learned helplessness creates measurable changes in the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, literally reshaping your brain to expect failure. But here's the breakthrough. Seligman's later research proved that learned helplessness can be unlearned. He called the antidote learned optimism. Studies show that when people experience even small successes they can control, their sense of agency returns. The neural pathways associated with motivation and hope strengthen. You're not permanently broken. You've just been conditioned to stop trying. The fix: start with micro wins. Don't overhaul your entire life. Make your bed. Take a walk. Send that text you've been avoiding. Small actions prove to your brain that you still have agency. Control breeds confidence. Confidence breeds action. Your past doesn't determine your future. Your next decision does. So we've covered 5 toxic traits: self-sabotage, comparison addiction, toxic productivity, emotional avoidance, learned helplessness. But here's what connects them all. They're protection mechanisms that outlive their usefulness. At some point, these patterns helped you survive. Self-sabotage protected you from the pain of public failure. Comparison gave you social information. Busyness helped you avoid trauma. Emotional avoidance got you through difficult times. Helplessness conserved energy when fighting seemed pointless. Your brain isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was trained to do. But you're not in that situation anymore. You're stronger now. You're ready for the next level. And the beautiful thing about neuroplasticity? Your brain can change. At any age. At any stage. Every toxic trait can be rewired. Every pattern can be interrupted. Every behavior can be reclaimed. But it starts with one decision. To see yourself clearly. To name what's holding you back. And to choose differently. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. Your life isn't screwed, but it's waiting for you to wake up. What's one toxic trait you're ready to break? Share in the comments.